live. Our mics are hot.
Happy Monday, everybody. Good morning, Joe.
I don't know how many people are going to be watching the show today because everybody's watching Spurs Media Day.
Nah, we'll be fine, man. We'll be fine.
We got Spurs Media Day going on right now. Just heard Devin Vassell talk, heard Coach Pop talk. Got some good material for later on. We'll release some short clips of what happened. We'll turn on the chat as well. Hey, Tony Hernandez, he says, I'm the first one here. Do I get a prize?
That's right, baby.
Your prize is you get to look at Mike. Mike and me. Good morning, Sam Salinas. Good to have you here. Good morning, Matt Gomez. Appreciate you. Yeah, man, for real. Rip Dikembe Mutombo, man. Not in my house. I remember he used to say that, waving the finger. Sorry to hear that he passed, man.
Yeah, we'll get into that a little
bit. Roll Tide. Yeah, man, that was a big win for Alabama.
Great game.
Man. And who would have thought, too, because Georgia everybody thought they were lit for dead.
Welcome to another episode of the Alamo City Sportscast with Mike Jimenez and Joe Garcia. Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Join the discussion as we broadcast live from beautiful West San Antonio. And remember to tip your hosts as it helps the show grow.
Happy Monday, San Antonio. My name is Mike Jimenez. That's Joe Garcia. This is the Alamo City Sportscast coming at you from the west side of San Antonio. Look at Joe with a haircut.
Yeah, man.
Joe, you looking good, baby.
Yeah, I got a little fade. Got myself, finally got my haircut done because my hair was getting a little long.
Yeah, where did you go for a haircut?
I just went around the corner here. Great clips.
Oh, there you go, baby.
Yeah, because I like it because you get to check in online.
Yeah.
And then they tell you, hey, go ahead and make your way over here. I just go right in. I don't even have to sit down. They're like, oh, yeah, you checked in online? Yep. All right. We're ready.
Do you follow them on Instagram?
I don't follow them.
Because if you do, they have $9.99 haircuts.
Oh, really?
The coupons come out once a month.
Nice.
Or they'll give out like a $5 or a $7 coupon.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, man. I actually had an experience this weekend with a haircut because I got my haircut done as well.
Nice.
I was in Baton Rouge with my daughter, Gabby. Spent a few days with her. Just some father-daughter bonding time over there. I wanted to get a haircut. Was looking for a gray clips or a supercuts because I don't know anything that's going on over there. Couldn't find one. Driving around, and I found, Joe, a barber shop. Beyond a barber shop, and I hope I'm not being offensive. I hope this term's not offensive. It was a black barber shop. Okay? Everybody who was cutting hair was African-American, and I tell you what, it was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had. I've been to the hood ones in like the Mexican, the Mexicano ones in California. I've been to those, but I had not been to a black barbershop before, and I had a blast. Everyone there was so nice. Everyone was watching college football and talking sports and just talking crap about alcohol and beer. I felt like I was in the middle of a TV show or a movie scene.
Man,
it was a black barbershop come to life. It was great.
I'm surprised you went. It's not too ethnic for you, man.
Dude, you know what? By the way, at the airport yesterday, I ran into Anthony Pittman. He was coming home from San Diego.
Pitt, man.
Dude, me and African Americans, we get along very well, dude. I'm very, very, very big into black culture. I love my African American friends and family and all that. They're wonderful. Great people. Nothing bad to say. So going in there, I have no problems fitting in to that scenario. I went in there, I was like, hey, can I get a haircut? Guy was like, fade? You need a fade? I'm like, yeah, I guess that's what it's called. He sits me down. Dude, at some point, he was cutting my hair with these clippers that I had never seen done before.
Yeah.
And I thought that he was doing it badly, but he actually did a really good job. He brought out these shears that were like Edward Scissorhands, dude. They were like 2 feet tall, and he's standing far away from me just doing this.
Line you up.
Just lining me up, gets the alcohol out, puts alcohol on the back of my neck, puts it right here, got the straight edge razor and started doing the corners right here. And man,
lined you up, man.
Lined me up right, baby. And then at the end of it, I didn't have cash. He was cash only. So I had to do Cash App for him. So it's kind of funny how the world works when it comes to that, man. But we have a lot to get into, Joe. This is a show that typically we go from 10 to about 11:30. Hour and a half, and sometimes we do a really good job filling the time, right? Today we have way too much to talk about.
Yeah.
Way too much. Spurs Media Day is going on today. Devin Vassell. Is this guy damaged goods? I love Devin Vassell. He's one of my sons, right? Is he damaged goods? Because he's going to miss the start of the season. He's already out there. Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 is all over it. Follow his Twitter account at Jeff G Spurs Zone because he's tweeting every 5-10 minutes about what's going on over there. NFL action. The Texans got a win. They looked awful against Jacksonville. They lost me money too because I bet a lot of money on the Texans to cover the spread. 5-point spread against a crappy Jacksonville team, and they win by 3. They win barely. Speaking of barely, the Falcons eked by my Saints. My Saints dropped to 2-2. We'll get into that. Rashee Rice got injured by his own quarterback. What was Patrick Mahomes thinking? Patrick Mahomes blew out the ACL of his own teammate, his best wide receiver. Have we ever seen a quarterback take out for the season his best wide receiver? That happened yesterday. We'll get into that. Jaden Daniels, good God, he's breaking records. Through 4 games, he's at 82% accuracy. Yeah, that is the best 4-game stretch of all time, not just for rookies, but for all time. I'm going to go ahead and say that he might actually be kind of a weird analogy here. We saw what Caitlin Clark did with the WNBA.
Yeah.
Is Jaden Daniels the Caitlin Clark type of player in the NFL?
Maybe. Well, you know who else is having a good season so far? Derrick Henry, man.
Derrick Henry. Oh, yeah, Derrick Henry in one play yesterday.
Jeez, bro.
In one game yesterday had more yards than the Cowboys' entire season.
And you know what else was not rushing. Funny, but was surprising yesterday, man. This Ravens team, they just decimated that Buffalo Bills team, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good old-fashioned ass whooping. That's what that was.
Did you see the Denver Broncos rookie quarterback had -7 yards passing at halftime, and they go on to win and beat Aaron Rodgers and the Jets?
Craziness, dude. And they barely inked out a win, but they won.
How do you complete 7 passes for -7 yards? That's what he did.
Accuracy is not there, man.
Yeah, it's brutal. So you see what you have with Bo Nix, and then you see what you have with Jaden Daniels. 2 completely different things, all drafted top of the first round in this year's draft. Before we get,
sorry, I had double.
No problem. Before we get going,
yeah,
gotta pour one out for Dikembe Mutombo.
The great Dikembe Mutombo.
Dude, before the show started, I was pulling into the driveway over here. 3 minutes before the show started, you get the buzz on the phone that NBA legend Dikembe Mutombo passed away at the age of 58 of brain cancer. Dikembe Mutombo is one of those iconic players of the NBA because not only was he a Hall of Famer, an 8-time All-Star, but he had that signature move once he rejected you. He would do that finger wag. Like, nah, they even make commercials of that, right? Not in this house,
not
right?
In my house.
Not in my house. A career that expanded for many, many teams. He was with the Nuggets for about 5 seasons, the Hawks for about 5 seasons.
Who can ever forget the iconic moment that they showed with him when he was with the Denver Nuggets? And that was that Cinderella team
when they beat the Seattle Seahawks, Seattle Supersonics,
number 8 beating number 1 seed.
Yeah, so it was 8 versus 1. Unfortunately, it happened to the Spurs years later.
It did, man.
When we lost to the Grizzlies, but that was the first time an 8 had ever beaten 1. Now, unlike the Spurs and the Grizzlies, when that happened to us, the Grizzlies were an injury-riddled team that should have been a top 3 seed. So I didn't feel so bad when that happened because it was an 8 seed that was really a 3 seed quality that got healthy at the right time.
Yeah.
That it didn't really hurt me too much. That team right there, that Denver team beating Seattle, the Supersonics, that was a true 8-1 matchup. And it was one of those things where you never thought in the world that was going to happen.
Yeah.
You never thought that Denver was going to actually pull it off. And as the series wore on, I was like, oh my God, it's going to happen. And the iconic image of Mutombo in the lane underneath the basket, holding the ball up, laying down, just elated, so excited that his Nuggets advanced in the playoffs is an iconic image. Number 55 center, again, who played for the Nuggets, the Hawks, the Sixers, the Nets, the Knicks, and the Rockets. When you see him, I see him as a Nugget still, even though he was only there for 5 or 6 seasons, and he played just as many years at Atlanta, just as many years at Houston. I still see him as a Denver Nugget. 8-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA third team, 1-time All-NBA second team, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year in 95, 97, 98, and 2001. He made the All-NBA defensive team 3 times in 97, 98, and 01. Made the All-NBA defensive second team 3 times as well. He was an all-rookie team. He led the league in reboundings twice. He led the league in blocks 3 times. His numbers retired by 2 teams, the Atlanta Hawks and the Denver Nuggets. He was also an All-American, playing at Georgetown. You knew his teammate was? Alonzo Mourning.
Alonzo Mourning.
So you had Alonzo Mourning and Dikembe Mutombo on the same team. And that is a formidable front court right there. But Dikembe Mutombo passed away at the age of 58. I'm sure there'll be retrospectives about him. Passed away of brain cancer. He was also a big-time humanitarian for where he was from in Africa.
Yeah.
The African continent in general. He was an NBA ambassador towards that, a goodwill ambassador, humanitarian ambassador. Dikembe Mutombo passed away at the age of 58, enshrined into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame back in September of 2015.
Yeah, you know who else passed away over the weekend, dude? Chris Christopherson, man.
Really?
He passed away on Saturday, man, in his home of Maui. He was living on the island of Maui.
Singer, actor. I know him more as an actor, but a lot of people know him as a singer as well.
Yeah, man. A lot of people know him as he came out in Blade with Wesley Snipes way back in the day. So, yeah, man. Pour some out for Chris Christopherson.
The guy was a Texan, born in Brownsville, Texas. Passed away at the age of 88. He was known for the roles in Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, Bloom of Love, Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, A Star Is Born, which got him a Golden Globe Award for Best Actor. He was in Convoy, Heaven's Gate, Lone Star. Lone Star was a great movie, by the way. Stagecoach, and as you mentioned, the Blade trilogy as well. He was 88 years old.
Yeah, man. So it's like we've been losing a lot of people lately, it seems. I think we've gotten at that age already where, life starts taking things away from you. And not only that, but my kids were telling me too that another actor from the Harry Potter series, she went and passed away too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man.
Christopherson, by the way, was also a Army officer.
Yeah, he was a veteran, dude. Yeah. So they were telling me that Professor McGonagall, she played the character, right? That actress went ahead and passed away last week too. So it's like, man, a lot of people.
Well, they say they come in threes.
We're losing a lot of people, man. A lot of peeps.
Yeah, you're talking about Dame Maggie Smith.
Yeah, man.
Oh, you know what? I'm looking at her photo right now. I know her more, not that I've ever seen the show, but just looking at her face for Downton Abbey.
Yeah, she's come out in a lot of movies, man.
Yeah. 89 years old. She was in the Harry Potter series. She played Violet Crawley in Downton Abbey. It's a very, very popular show. Never saw that movie. Never saw that show, rather.
Harry Potter?
I've never seen Harry Potter or Downton Abbey, to be honest with you.
Yeah, man. I got kids, dude. They watched some Harry Potter back in the day.
Maggie Smith, she won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress in 1979. Passed away again.
And also John Ashton passed away from Beverly Hills Cop, man.
My goodness, what is going on today?
Dude.
John Ashton passed away?
Yeah.
Wow, he passed away late last week from the Beverly Hills Cop series. He played, what was his name? He wasn't Taggart. Taggart was Judge Reinhold. Who did he play? He was also Police Squad. Very nice. Little Big League, Trapped in Paradise, The Shooter. He was in Gone, Baby Gone.
And he was only 76 too.
He was funny. He was like the straight guy, Yeah,
man. And like I said, dude, we're at that age now where people are starting to age out, man.
Now, the sad thing is that whenever you have like your favorite singers pass away,
Yeah.
growing up in the 90s, we've already lost Kurt Cobain. He died way back when. We lost Selena way back when. Chris Cornell, Chester Bennington, Scott Weiland, Lane Staley. We've lost a lot.
Chester Bennington.
Yeah.
Linkin Park. I know you're not a fan of Linkin
Oh, I
Park.
love Linkin Park.
Are you sure?
One of my 10 favorite bands of all time.
Oh, man. Name me 2 songs.
Breaking the Habit, Numb.
All right. We'll give you a pass.
Hybrid Theory is a great album.
We'll give
back
you a
in
pass.
2001. No,
you're
I love
Park
Linkin
fan.
Park, man. Because in the end, doesn't even matter, baby.
God, man.
What's it called? Paper Cut's a great song. First song off the first album.
Yeah.
Let's get away from the morbid talk again. John Ashton, Dame Maggie Smith, and Chris Christopherson and Dikembe Mutombo, man. This took a turn of negative town, but Dikembe Mutombo again passed away at the age of 58 of brain cancer. Condolences to him, his family. Let's talk about the Spurs. I know we'll get into week 4 of the NFL season that happened last night and continues again tonight in Monday Night Football. But we need to talk about Devin Vassell.
I don't know if you saw, but did you catch the clip of him talking to the media?
I caught a little bit of it, but go ahead and tell me what you saw.
So they talk with Coach Pop and they talk with him, and it's already been, on Friday they kind of came out Spurs and said, he's got a nagging injury. He had surgery. It's going to take him a while to be ready for the beginning of the season. Probably not going to play. They were saying outlook didn't look like he was going to play until maybe somewhere in November, maybe a little further out, December, something like that. But listening to Coach Pop and now listening to Devin Vassell talking to the media here in Media Day, Coach Pop, they asked him, when do you think he's going to be ready? He's like, I don't pay attention to things like that. He's ready when he's going to be ready. I think Coach Pop is preparing Spurs fans for them to be prepared that maybe Devin Vassell's not going to be available until maybe January.
Can we rely on Devin Vassell to begin with? Let's go back in time.
I think that's the big issue here, that the Spurs front office and the doctors and Devin Vassell are really focusing on, because just hearing them talk, they don't want to rush him in because they do want him healthy. And this is a nagging injury he's had. So maybe he's been dealing with this since he's had surgery a while back and it never really healed properly. So maybe that's the lingering issue with him not being able to finish a complete season without him being injured. So now that he's getting the surgery, he had the surgery done. Now they want to go ahead and coax him in, but they want to bring him back slowly when he's 100%.
You can show my screen real fast.
Sure.
Devin Vassell is just 24 years old. He just turned 24 last month. Here's a list of every injury he's had with the Spurs in the last 4 seasons. It started with a knee injury in January of 2021. Then he got COVID. Then he got an ankle injury. Then he got a quad. Then he got another quad injury. That was all 2021. In 2022, another COVID issue. Knee, ankle, knee. 2023, knee. 2023, abductor. So his abs, right? Or no, adductor rather, I'm sorry. Then he had knee injury. And then now this year, it's a foot injury. This isn't a Kawhi Leonard type of situation where you have like the same injury repeatedly to the same part. But it seems like he has some broken pieces, or maybe he just kind of injury prone. I don't like using that phrase, man. I hate using the phrase injury prone, but he's missed so much time in the NBA. His rookie season, he missed 20 games. His second season, he missed 11. His third season, he missed 44 games. And then last year, he missed 14. So he's averaging missing about 20 points per game. But dare I say, Joe, with this foot injury, it's getting me excited. Why is it getting me excited that Devin Vassell's hurt? Devin Vassell, who is out there, who can score, 18, 19 points per game, flirt with 20 points per game. Why does it get me excited? Because who is his backup, baby? Stephon Castle. Stephon Castle, it is your time to shine. Stephon Castle might actually start the first game of the season.
You know what's asinine to me? There's somebody out there that's a complete fraud that tries to pass him off. So he tries to pass himself off as a Spurs insider. Complete fraud of a guy.
The fraud guy.
The fraud guy.
Yeah.
He went on to Spurs, the official Spurs Facebook group, right? And he puts, like he's an insider coming with inside information. And he says He posts something and it was stupid, and people were calling him out about it. Devin Vassell's injury is going to leave the door wide open to somebody else to take those minutes. And they're like, what a stupid article. Of course it is.
Of course, yeah.
Why is that news? Like, we already know that.
I mean, Devin Vassell played 33 minutes per game last year. Devin Vassell played 33. I think that was the most of any player on the team.
You know what that reminded me of? It's like the weatherman telling you, there's 100% chance of rain.
Yeah.
If you go outside, you might get wet.
It's true.
I'm like,
yeah.
How dumb is that?
You know, and water's wet, right?
Yeah.
Devin Vassell averaged a career high 19.5 points per game last year, averaged a career high 4.1 assists, averaged a career high 1.1 steal. He also had an 80% accuracy from the charity stripe. He shot 37% from three. He's a good player, dude. Devin Vassell is a really good player. Problem is that he gets hurt, right? So we knew that he was going to get hurt because he gets hurt every freaking season. He's just 24 years old. I love his game. I think he's a good team player, except towards down the stretch last year when he didn't want to pass the ball to Wemby because he said this was my team. There was an issue when it came to that. But
yeah,
but somebody needs to come in and back him up. So the logical backup on the depth chart is Stephon Castle. Stephon Castle played the 2 position in college at UConn.
Yeah, he did.
He wanted to play point guard. He was saying that from the very beginning. I want to play point guard. Guess who played shooting guard his rookie season alongside Chris Paul a few years ago?
Who was that?
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I'm sorry, it wasn't his first year. It was his second year. His first year was over with the Clippers. He was all NBA rookie team. He made the second team that season. Goes over to Oklahoma City. Second season in the league. Chris Paul plays point guard. SGA played shooting guard. Chris Paul leaves. SGA then assumes the role of starting point guard. So now you have Stephon Castle out there who's destined to get minutes because now it looks like wouldn't the starting lineup be Trey Jones, Stephon Castle, Harrison Barnes, Jeremy Sohan, Victor Wembanyama? Isn't that the team? Because why would you put you're not gonna put Zach Collins in?
He's a backup, dude.
You're not gonna put in Keldon.
I don't know, man. That right there is the one thing that's kind of scary to me. Because if you put Keldon Johnson into that starting lineup,
right?
I mean, what if he gets injured? And you need somebody to come off on that bench and lead that second unit.
And Keldon's smaller than before. He's no longer big body. He trimmed
man.
down. So if this Spurs team is destined to be a 35-win team or a 38-40 win team, what are they without Devin Vassell?
Not very good. Devin Vassell is arguably going to be your second best player on this team right now.
Normally is.
Yeah.
Now we have Harrison Barnes and CP3.
Yeah. So I'm like, he's going to be your second best player. He's going to be able to open the game up for a little bit more, open the floor up a little bit more for Wemby. You know, if he's getting hot, he's shooting, he can go ahead and pass the ball off to Wemby, or he could go ahead and dish it out to Harrison Barnes out there on the wing. CP3, maybe CP3 can lob it to Wemby. You know, Devin, he really opens the game up for the Spurs. And by him being injured, it's a big question mark for us right now.
Sam Salinas says, shouldn't be anything to be excited about. It should be expected that Castle will be a starter. Pick that high, wouldn't expect anything less. I mean, I see where you're going with that. You know, you take him number 4 overall in the draft. You want him to start, but the fact of the matter is that the depth chart said that wasn't going to be the case. The depth chart indicated that he would get a lot of minutes, right? Maybe some minutes at the 1, some minutes at the 2, some minutes at the 3, get 25, 26 minutes of play, but do it in multiple positions. Right now, he's going to be the shooting guard. He's going to be the 2. He has to be. There's nobody else behind him that could do that. Yeah. Keldon can't be the 2. Keldon's too small for the 2. Doesn't have the range of the 2. There's nobody else behind him. I mean, are you going to put Malachi Branham ahead of Castle? Why? Throw him into the fire. The Spurs threw Jeremy Sohan into the fire, and Sohan was the number 9 overall pick in the draft.
Yeah, they did, but that was different times, man. I don't know what Coach Pop is going to do. I would think logically, if you think Coach Pop kind of way, he's going to throw Keldon into that starting lineup.
Well, I mean, he'd be out of position.
He would be, but I mean, Coach Pop likes his vet players. So if he did something like that, it wouldn't surprise me. But to us, the most logical conclusion would be you would want Stephon Castle in that starting 5, high pick. I mean, the kid looks game ready.
Back in the day when the Spurs were 50-win teams, Pop never played rookies.
No.
He never did. But
he had the luxury.
But what has he done now? He started Sohan almost every single game he played his rookie season.
He had to put in Wemby, overall #1 pick.
You put Wemby in there. He's going to start Castle, dude. He better start Castle because the other options, I'm looking at ESPN's depth chart. Malachi Branham. Are you going to put Malachi Branham back there? Are you going to start Chris Paul with Trey Jones? Are you going to put Champagne? Oh, please, God,
no. Come on.
Fortunately,
Mike.
he's not a shooting guard.
That's your boy.
And I know people are like, well, there's positionless basketball. The Spurs kind of run it kind of the old school way. Malachi Branham is the most likely one to battle Stephon Castle for that spot at number 2. But Stephon Castle, hell of a defender, man. Lockdown defender. A Castle, Sohan, Wemby defensive core is very tasty. Very, very tasty. Say just take Sohan back to the point guard. Screw that, man. Now, I like Jesse A's comment right there that you just had right there. It says, Harrison Barnes is an Iron Man and plays every game. Not no more. Pop going to find a reason to DNP him. Dude, I think that Pop DNPs players because he doesn't respect them half the time. But Harrison Barnes, he does play 82 games per season. He's not somebody who likes to sit down. Last season, Harrison Barnes averaged 12 points per game and 3 rebounds, shot 47.5% from the field. Harrison Barnes is somebody who played all 82 games last season. He doesn't get a lot of minutes, though. He gets 29 minutes per game. So he plays a lot. He plays every game, but he's not out there logging 34, 35, 36 minutes. Man. 29 minutes per game is all right. It's what Keldon typically gets, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to put him in there probably to start the game. Kind of help spread the floor. You got another shooter out there.
He's a first and fourth quarter guy.
Yeah, I mean, he can knock down the mid-range jumper.
Oh, big time.
He's going to be money from the stripe, when you get him to the free throw line. He's a veteran player. Another floor general out there on the court.
Check this out. He has played 82 games back-to-back seasons.
He's durable, man. But you know what? It's probably because he's only playing like consistently 29 minutes on average.
29. The season before with Sacramento, he averaged 32 minutes per game. It's gone lower and lower because in 2020, 2021, he was at 36 minutes per game. Then it dropped to 34. Then it dropped to 33. Then it dropped to 29. It's kind of going the same pattern as Ezekiel Elliott's rushes per yards per carry.
With Elias is saying, Wemby at point guard and Castle at center.
Pop 2025. That's exciting.
You know what? I did pose a question here in the chat to everybody that's watching along with us right now. And I asked, will the Spurs make the playoffs this upcoming season? It's kind of close, man. 52% of the people that are watching, our fans right now, they voted. 52% say yes. 48% say no.
No, they're not making the playoffs this year.
Even if they win 41 or 42 games,
ain't gonna happen.
Ain't gonna be enough.
You got to get to like 46 to get pretty close.
It ain't gonna be enough.
I'm following all of Jeff Garcia's tweets. Let's give him some love. Yeah, Jeff Garcia, our guy. He's our insider, if you will.
He's
from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 at Media Day right now.
Locked On Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on threads at Jeff G Ken's 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow not only on threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@Locked On Spurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.
That's right. You can subscribe on Spotify like I do or on YouTube. Today's guest on Locked On Spurs is Casey Vieira of Ken's 5. They're going to ask the question about Jeremy Sohan. What can he do this season to improve? Jeff Garcia on his Twitter page talking about the fact that the first person to speak today was Hall of Fame coach Greg Popovich. The first thing he talked about was Chris Paul and the leadership that he brings and how he's able to mentor players this year. Devin Vassell took the stage, was talking about how he's going to get reevaluated on November 1. Now, again, the season starts October 24th. So he's saying, I'm going to be reevaluated, not be back by. I'm going to be reevaluated by the second week of the season. He ain't coming back till December.
No, I don't think he's coming back till January. If you read between the lines, especially with him and with Coach Pop addressing the media today, they're going to err on the side of caution. I don't believe he's going to come back until January.
Vassell goes on to say that the team needs more leadership and more vets in the locker room. That's according to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. They were talking about expectations. Blake Wesley saying the team's going to be scary. Harrison Barnes talking about what players have impressed him. You can find out more on Twitter by following Jeff Garcia at Jeff G Spurs Zone. Again, Locked On Spurs. Casey Vieira from Ken's 5 is today's guest. Jeff is going to provide more articles and more information about the Spurs Media Day later on Twitter. Does a fantastic job. Again, Locked On Spurs, your source for daily Spurs content.
Yeah, great coverage, by the way, from Jeff. I know a lot of my other friends there are out there right now at Spurs Media Day getting all that content as well. So it's going to be a great day for Spur fan because you're going to have media coverage just being thrown at you.
I've been to a couple of media days. It's also the day that they do the backdrop stuff. Like whenever you see the Jumbotron of them doing that or holding the ball out or whatever the case may be.
The intro with them screaming with the ball.
That's all done at media day. They do all the photos. It's kind of like it's like a high school, yearbook photo shoot that they have over there.
You said it was kind of jarring because you had went and you said all of a sudden they're interviewing Coach Pop or one of the players, and then you hear somebody screaming, "Ah!"
Yeah. I remember going years ago. This was 2003, 2000. I don't know how long ago it was. There was a rookie there named Tony Parker, and I had a conversation with him, and I didn't understand one word he said. Man, I know he speaks English, right? He speaks it very well now, but back then, his accent was thick. It was thick, and not the curvy girl way. It was just thick. It was like talking to somebody who had marbles in his mouth. It was amazing. Let's get into the NFL. Week 4 is going to wrap up tonight with Monday Night Football. Joe, people were making fun of me on Twitter yesterday because I mentioned that I was happy that my Saints are playing well. It's all about expectations, right?
Yeah,
it's all about expectations. The Saints lost yesterday, literally at the last second, to a 58-yard field goal by the Atlanta Falcons. Those two teams, whenever they play each other, they always go down to the end. The Saints, I believe, were trying to run the clock out the last 2 minutes of the game. They had the ball, Joe, first and goal at the 1-yard line with 2 minutes to go. And I swear they failed to make the touchdown on the first and second play on purpose. I think they wanted the timeouts to be burned. Atlanta gets the ball back with 1 minute to go. There's a pass interference call on the Saints, leads to a 58-yard field goal. Saints down to 2, are now 2-2. Have the Chiefs on Monday Night Football next week. I'm excited because I was thinking my team was going to have a down year. I thought 9-8 would be like what they'd do, like they did last year.
Yeah,
but my team at the very least is in every game. Has won 2 games, and the 2 games that they lost at the last second because of a last second field goal.
You know what I say? You say the Saints lost. I'm going to tell you, good.
Yeah, good.
It doesn't matter if you lose by 2 points, you lose by 1 point, you lose by 30 points. Still a loss.
Oh,
at the end of the day,
it is still a loss. But at the end of the day, you want your team to be in position to win, because you know that if you're in position to win, you might actually become a playoff team, or you're on track to becoming a playoff team. It's when you're getting blown out, right? There's a difference between being 2-2 and those 2 losses being you got your asses handed to them. So I'm looking at my team going, okay, they're 2-2. They could have been 4-0. The worst case scenario was they were 2-2.
Yeah.
And the expectations that are there, when you hear the head coach of the Saints going out there and talking about expectations and how this was a kick to the balls is how he described it yesterday. And then he said, I'm so sorry for saying that. Fact of the matter is that when you have a team that has expectations, you know that you're heading in the right direction as a team. Doesn't mean they're going to make the playoffs this year. I'm just excited.
You know what? They have the same record as Cowboys.
They do.
2-2.
But they do.
Who's sitting atop of the division right now?
The Washington Commanders with a quarterback named Jaden Downs. We talked about this last week.
We said that Washington would be a sneaky good team.
We did, but we didn't think this good. But a good friend of mine, Stephen Reese, reached out to me today and said, what's interesting about Jaden Daniels is that they completed the team around him. They didn't build the team around him. They built the team and then they brought him in. And I hadn't thought about that. That kind of makes some sense to me. You see teams that draft like Will Levis, that draft players like Bryce Young, and they build a team around them. Whereas in other situations, you see a team that's already built that needs a quarterback to kind of go into the system. We're seeing that with CJ Stroud. We're seeing that with Baker Mayfield now. We're seeing that with Sam Darnold over at Minnesota. Build the team and then get the quarterback. It's kind of a weird way of looking at it. But the Washington Commanders now at 3-1 atop the NFC East. Who would have thought? And it's not a 3-1 where you think to yourself, they'll get back down to reality. No, not at all. Look who they got, Joe. The next 5 games. Next 5 games, 4 of them are extremely winnable. They got the Cleveland Browns home, right? They should win that game. They've got Baltimore on the road. They'll lose that game. But then they've got Carolina, the Bears, and the Giants. Dude, that's 4 wins out of 5 games right there.
Their schedule's kind of soft, but you know what?
Best case scenario, they're 7-2. I think worst case scenario, they're 6-3 after 9 games.
But here's the thing with the Washington Commanders, dude. Sometimes they do this, right? And they got you believing. And then what happens? They absolutely just shit the bed the rest of the season, and they show who they really are. I'm not really convinced.
We don't know who they are.
I know, and I'm just telling you right now, I don't believe this team is as good as advertised, as good as their record. I think that they're still going to show at the end of the day that they are the Commanders for a reason.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I think we're seeing what we saw with CJ Stroud last year. Because we all said that about the Texans, right? And the Texans went in, got a playoff victory, got bounced in the second round by the Ravens. But everyone was thinking, that CJ Stroud, that rookie season is going to go kaput. Everything's going to catch up to him. It caught up to them in the second round of the playoffs. I'm not saying that the Commanders are going to go off and win the Super Bowl.
About the Commanders. No one said anything about the Commanders.
Who's their head coach? Who's their head coach? Former Cowboy defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, right? Dan Quinn, who offered to quit last year, if it was going to help out Mike McCarthy. The Commanders, though, are playing a style of football that is clean. Now, you saw Jaden Daniels yesterday get his first interception of his career, right? But the accuracy of 82% over 4 games is the best 4-game stretch with 90 minimum attempts in NFL history. NFL history. Mahomes never did that. Peyton Manning never did that. And this guy's doing it as a rookie, first 4 games out of the gate. And I'm so excited because I was talking to my daughter who's an LSU grad. I was like, look at that. We have Burrow, and now we have Jaden Daniels. Daniels beat Burrow a couple weeks ago. Jaden Daniels throws a clean ball, man. He throws a clean ball. He's not going for home run hits. He's just a clean player, dude. I don't know what to say. Man. He's a very, very good player. He can run the ball. Dude, you might say this, Joe. Jaden Daniels might be in the running for MVP this year.
Oh, no, bro. Look at. I like this comment here by Sam Salinas. They are who we thought they were. Dennis Green.
Yeah, talking about what the Arizona Cardinals back in the day. Dude, you look at that team, that Commanders team. You look at their roster, their depth chart. Brian Robinson Jr., Austin Eckler. Dude, compare that to the Cowboys. Who would you rather have? Zeke Elliott and Rico Dowdle, or Brian Robinson Jr. and Austin Eckler? Dude, you'd rather have Eckler by himself would be better. Terry McLaurin, Noah Brown, Luke McCaffrey, who's come into his own, Zach Ertz. I mean, I'm not saying that it's like a world beater team, but what I am saying is that it's a good team. It's a solid offense. And on top of that, that defense is coming alive. That defense that has former Cowboy Dorrance Armstrong.
Yeah. Look at this comment here by Hooper Flash. Nobody studied the Washington team. Now they will.
You can't study them. There's no tape. You got 4 games. We're going to study LSU against Auburn last year. We talked about this last week, Joe. Jaden Daniels had over 50 games. What was that? 54 games as a college quarterback?
Yeah.
He was ready to play. And people are like, no, we want to go after J.J. McCarthy. We want to go after Caleb Williams. I mean, Caleb Williams had 30-some-odd games. So he had some experience. But how many quarterbacks come in the league with 50 games experience at a D1 level like Arizona State and LSU?
Are you going to adopt the Washington Commanders as your Sancho team?
Can't. They're in the same conference. I go by my rules, baby. I'll cheer for him, but I won't call them my Sancha team.
Well, yesterday was a good day for my Sancha team, Texans.
It wasn't a good day.
I mean, they won.
They
it was
won.
An ugly ass win.
They won. They played like trash.
Oh
dude.
yeah, even the coach admitted that.
They played like absolute trash against a trash team.
Coaches and players all agreed that was a horrible.
Texans
game.
go to 3-1. They beat the Jaguars 24-20. They scored a touchdown the last minute of the game. They blew $200 of my betting because I won money playing Pai Gow the night before at La Berge in Baton Rouge. I put it all on the Texans to cover a 5-point spread. They only win by 4. Screw the Texans today. I'm pissed at them. But
Jaguars might actually win a couple games this season.
Dude, this was the Texans. Had they played any other team in the NFL, would have lost.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Nico Collins went off 12 receptions for 151 yards and a touchdown. He's a complete stud. But it was all about the penalties, dude. What was it, 11 penalties?
It was a lot.
Dude, it was all the same penalty over and over and over again. It was illegal man downfield. Each time. Illegal man downfield. Because they're doing that RPO, that run pass option. And what ends up happening is that CJ Stroud doesn't hand the ball off on time. Then he decides last second, I'm going to pass it. And by then, the offensive line thinks it's a run play. And they're moving forward. And it's illegal man downfield every single time. And it happened not once. It happened not twice. It happened not 3 times. I think it happened like 5 times yesterday. And I'm watching that game going, what the hell? It's the exact same call. It's the exact same call. And it brought back a touchdown from Nico Collins. And he could have had 12 penalties in that game for the Texans for 93 yards. They beat a crappy Jaguars team barely. They beat them at the end. They were losing the entire game. Goodness. Kind of pissed off at the Texans. The Texans have played like trash this year. They're the worst 3-1 team in the NFL. Let's do they beat a crappy Colts team. Crappy Colts team, 29-27. They played the Bears. Caleb Williams' second game. That guy could barely find a receiver. They barely beat them 19-13 at home. They go on the road to play the only good team that they've played this year, the Minnesota Vikings, and they get the asses handed to them 34-7. And then they play Jacksonville, who comes in 0-3, and they win 24-20. Guess who they play next, Joe?
Who?
Buffalo Bills.
Man.
Buffalo, who's coming off a big loss last night to the Baltimore Ravens.
Dude, Derrick Henry, man. Somebody put it here in the chat, too. They said he's a tank, dude. There it is. Elias says Derrick Henry is a tank. Cowboys did not want him. And you know what? I was listening to some things that they were saying about Jerry Jones. And they brought up a very good point last night. I think it was on that sports show that comes out on KMOL, News 4 San Antonio. And I think it was Richard Oliver. He said, Jerry Jones is a great owner, right? Great owner. He's just a really bad GM.
Yeah.
He's a really bad GM. Like, if he was just an owner, that would be great. He could be the face of the franchise as far as talking to the media, whatnot. Oh, look, here's Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. But when it comes to making decisions, football decisions that are going to either benefit the team and push them further into the playoffs, or even get to the Super Bowl, he ain't that guy.
Let's keep in mind that the Dallas Cowboys in 4 games have 300 yards rushing, 301. That's 75 per game. Leading rusher for the Cowboys right now is Rico Dowdle, 134 yards in 4 games. Zeke Elliott is averaging 20 yards per game, right? So the 2 best running backs, RB1 and RB2, have combined for 215 yards rushing for the Dallas Cowboys. Meantime, you see Derrick Henry go off for 24 carries and 199 yards, including an 87-yard touchdown. Yesterday, he outrushed the top 2 running backs of the Cowboys almost on his own for the entire season thus far. RJ Ochoa from Blogging the Boys. He's a good friend, right? So he does a fantastic job with bloggingtheboys.com. Was talking about the fact, and he tweeted something to the effect of, there are a lot of teams that passed up on Derrick Henry, but only one team bragged about it, and that was the Cowboys. Where would the Cowboys be? Where would Dak Prescott be? Where would CeeDee Lamb be? Where would the Cowboys defense be if they had Derrick Henry on that roster and they didn't go get him. And Derrick Henry said, they didn't even look at me. Yeah. And the Cowboys bragged about it. Lamar Jackson, 54 yards rushing. The team had 271 yards rushing. I heard a stat. I have not verified it, but it was on Get Up this morning. Rex Ryan talking about the Ravens.
Yeah.
The Ravens are 2-2. And his stat was that they have outrushed every single opponent this year by at least 100 yards in every game. What wins championships? It's defense and running.
Yeah, but one of the stats that he needs to look at too is they squander leads. They let teams back in games.
They do. They didn't yesterday. They didn't let the foot off the gas. They beat the living crap out of the Bills, 35-10. The Bills losing their first game of the season, falling to 3-1.
I mean, Derrick Henry mowing down people, man.
Dude, have you ever seen Derrick Henry high school highlights?
Dude, and the people are just hanging off of the dude as he's running down the field.
It's like a movie scene, you know.
They can't hold.
They're holding carrying them. But Lamar Jackson, 13 of 18, 156 yards. They just ran the ball up the field and just. I mean, Justice Hill had 18 yards rushing. Lamar Jackson had 54 yards rushing and a touchdown. They just controlled the clock, controlled the game. Amazing. So you have to ask yourself the question, who's the number one team in the AFC right now? In the AFC, you would say, okay, well, who's the only undefeated team? The Kansas City Chiefs, right? But the Chiefs no longer have a wide receiver one.
Yeah, no.
But the Chiefs are not a very good team. They might be undefeated.
They're getting help from the refs.
They're getting
every game.
They're getting help from the refs. They beat a crappy Chargers team yesterday, 17-10.
They were saying, Elias was saying, did you see Herbert throwing a fit on the sidelines there?
Yeah.
That Chargers game.
So before the game started, I got to look this up on Twitter, dude. Rashee Rice, who's the number one receiver, who was on track to get like 1,600 yards for the season. Their wide receiver one by far. I have never seen anything like this. This is according to CBS Sports, by the way. Interception to start the game. Rashee Rice, the wide receiver, trying to tackle the player. Mahomes takes his own guy out. Rashee Rice with a torn ACL, out for the year. This is brutal.
Oh.
When have you seen a Hall of Fame quarterback or any quarterback of any level take out their best player?
That was a stupid
their best
move.
Offensive weapon.
Stupid move by him anyway. Those types of tackles are outlawed, by the way. You're going to get a penalty because you can hurt people.
He went after the knee of the other team,
man,
and ended up taking out his own player. He did the dirty hit on his own player.
That's Bush League play, man, trying to hurt somebody like that. And you did hurt somebody. You hurt your own player.
Out for the year.
Mahomes is a dumbass. Why are you trying to go and tackle people? You're the quarterback, man. You don't need to do that.
Yeah. I mean,
Come on,
you've already made your mistake. Now, Rashee Rice, in the 3 games leading up to this, had 288 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. So basically about 95 yards per game. And now he's gone. So now they're going to have to rely on old man Travis Kelce, who's now going to be turning 35 years old. Dude, this Chiefs team just wins barely every single week, and they've got the Saints next on Monday Night Football.
You know what it is? It's the league wants to spin that storyline. Oh, they're going to be the first team to three-peat, or something like that.
They ain't going to do shit, dude.
I mean, come on.
Dude, man. The Ravens are going to beat the Chiefs. The Bills are going to beat the Chiefs. I might even say that if the Texans get their running game back together with Joe Mixon coming back.
You would think that, but the refs are going to have something to say about it.
They have nothing. Dude, they brought back Kareem Hunt.
Who's going to be their wide receiver now, number 1, wide receiver 1?
Wasn't Kareem Hunt a wife beater? Isn't that what he was doing?
Yeah, I believe so, dude.
And Rashee Rice was the one who had the injured people in that car accident back in the day. They brought back Kareem Hunt. And Kareem Hunt, by the way, was their second best weapon yesterday, not named Travis Kelce. I know they have Xavier Worthy. 73 yards and a touchdown last night. Kelce finally got off his ass, got 7 receptions for 89 yards.
He looks old.
He looks old, dude. He looks old.
He's washed, man.
So their wide receiver 1 is out. Their run game is suspect. They have injuries in the run game. Dude, they're primed. Dude, they need to go on a losing streak, man. Let's go ahead and start it on Monday Night Football next week, man. They've got the Saints on Monday night.
Jesse A says, that's what happens when a dad bod comes at you full force. He's talking about Patrick Mahomes.
That's funny, dude. Why do we have 2 Monday Night Football games, and why do all the teams suck? You got the Titans and Dolphins. Who wants to watch that game?
You know what's funny when they do these games, right? They put the marquee game, right?
There is a good game on here
on ESPN, right?
Yeah,
and then they put the free game on ABC, right? And what happened last week? The marquee game that was on ESPN, absolute garbage. Dude.
Yeah.
The game that was really interesting.
That was the Jets game, right?
ABC.
Yeah. So the ABC game is actually undefeated Seattle Seahawks against the 2-1 Detroit Lions. So I stand corrected. That's a good game.
That's a good game.
That's a good game.
Matchup.
We didn't know that before we all started because we knew the Lions were going to be good, but we didn't know that Geno Smith would be 3-0. Great question that was asked about some of these quarterbacks that are doing well, like Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Justin Fields. We're now playing like competent quarterbacks, saying it's not an indictment against them to call them busts. It's an indictment on the team that drafted them. Because maybe it wasn't them. Maybe it was just the crappy organization. Maybe it was bad culture. Maybe it was the bad fit. Tom Brady would not have won 7 rings if he was playing for anybody else other than Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
If he played for, I don't know, the Clapper, Jason Garrett, he wasn't going to win Super Bowls.
I even hate listening to Jason Garrett talk football as a commentator. I can't stand him, dude.
Vikings beat the Packers 31-29. Jordan Love's return. It was junk points, man, because it was a blowout.
Speaking of junk points, they're mentioning Joe Flacco is still the GOAT. Did you see that stat? One of his teammates, right, was saying that Joe Flacco is as old as his mom.
Yeah. there was a 4-day difference between the two.
I'm like, damn, dude.
That is funny. Chiefs beat the Chargers 17-10. The Raiders go to 2-2, beating the Browns 20-16. Niners back at 500, 2-2. 30-13 over the Patriots. Commanders beat the living crap out of Kyler Murray, 42-14 over the Arizona Cardinals. Texans 24-20 over the Jaguars. Panthers lose again. Bengals get their first win of the season, 34-24. Buccaneers look good, man. Or do the Eagles really suck?
Dude, the Eagles really suck. And what's surprising is that everybody had this Eagles team. Man, they're going to be the favorites to go back to the Super Bowl. They're going to win the NFC East. Man, they look horrible.
This is what happens when you take away the offensive coordinator.
They look bad.
You need to have consistency. Talk about that with Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield never got things going in Cleveland, although he did take him to the playoffs one time, was because they kept changing the offensive coordinator. You saw that with Bryce Young. Bryce Young in Carolina, does he suck or not? I don't know. He has 3 offensive coordinators in his short career over there. The dude's played 19 games? He had 3 offensive coordinators, 3 different systems to use. Jalen Hurts, you take away his offensive coordinator, he's not the same guy.
He's all right.
He's holding on to the ball. What is he doing? And then you take away the fact that he no longer has Jason Kelsey there at center. He's got weapons around him, but there's something wrong there.
They're missing that piece.
There's a disconnect. Coaching, I don't know if it's through the ears.
I think it's on the field, man. Once Kelsey left that Eagles team, they're missing that general on the field, dude.
There's something wrong, man.
This team is just looking bad.
And it's bad play calling.
Yeah, man. They're just bad all around.
I feel bad that my Saints lost to them. My goodness. That's the one bad loss of the season, I suppose. But again, the Eagles lost to the Buccaneers 33-16. The Broncos beat the Jets. Bo Nix, look at this stat line. Bo Nix 12 for 25, 60 yards, 1 touchdown, and that won the game. Aaron Rodgers threw for 225 and no interceptions and lost.
I told you all, Aaron Rodgers is old as hell, dude.
He gets hit and he gets up wobbly every time. He's old.
The body can't take it no more, man. I mean, how many hits has he sustained over his career? He's gotten some bad ones.
Now, he had the Jets in position to win the game, 50-yard field goal to win it. It was off by like a mile, dude. He missed that one hardcore. Again, tonight we have 2 Monday Night Football games. Let's show some love to our fellow Saints fan, Chris Leha on MCS General Contracting, that Diamond Hard Concrete.
Yeah, let's go ahead and show them some. MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business. Honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leha over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show.
That Diamond Hard Concrete. I'm a client myself. They did a fantastic job with a sidewalk at my house. They did an extension to the outdoor patio.
Yeah, the landing.
Fantastic job. Got a landing, got some steps. They just looked at it and said, here's what we envision, and they made it happen. Fantastic. I'm a happy customer.
Looking nice now over there at the house. You don't got no mud on the side of the house or nothing like that.
Nothing like that. The AP Top 25 rankings are out.
Oh,
and the Texas Longhorns have been bounced out of the number 1 spot. Longhorns got themselves a win, their first SEC win this past weekend. They beat Mississippi State 35-13, which I believe it's pretty close. We had Johnny Walker from former Holmes Husky great, former Texas great, on our show on Friday. He's on every Friday talking to us about the Cowboys and the UT Longhorns. I think he almost nailed it.
Almost.
Remember we told him, he said, it's a 33-point spread. He goes, they're going to score about 33 points. I think he might have nailed it. It's pretty damn close. But Bama, because Bama beat Georgia in that thrilling game, they were beating the crap out of Georgia the entire game. Georgia came
21-0, man.
Georgia came back in the fourth quarter, but it was too little, too late. Bama goes on to win by a touchdown. I believe it was 41-34. Bama got 40 first-place votes to leapfrog from 4-1. Is down the number 1 team according to the Associated Press Top 25. Texas got 19 first-place votes, fell to number 2. Ohio State is at 3. Tennessee at 4. Tennessee's looking good, man. That quarterback play is amazing. Georgia, 5, drops 3 spots from 2 to 5. Oregon moves up 2 spots to 6. Penn State also moves up 2 spots to 6. Miami gets the win. They drop a spot, though, to number 9. That win against Virginia Tech, they were getting beaten pretty bad the most of the game. Miami was like, whatever happened to Miami? Cam Ward with Miami, former UIW star. Got a win, but it was an ugly win. Missouri just making the way up the top, dude. Missouri's going to be that tough out in the playoffs. They're going to make the playoffs. They're the number 9 spot right now. Michigan at number 10. Michigan winning's good for Texas because the Longhorns went into Ann Arbor, beat up on Michigan. If you want Michigan to win if you're a UT fan, because you want that strength of schedule to look even better than what it is. Going to other parts of the top 25, USC at 11. The big fall down, Ole Miss drops to number 12. They dropped 6 spots. That was a really good game that they played against Kentucky. They lost 20-17. Ole Miss was up early in the game, but fell behind. LSU took care of South Alabama. I know they were taking on a school from Conference USA, but that was a scary school from Conference USA, and LSU beat the living crap out of them 42-10. Now up to number 13 after they had lost at the beginning of the season. They're back up into the top 13. Notre Dame at 14, Clemson at 15, Iowa State at 16, BYU at 17, Utah at 18. The Longhorns' next opponent, Oklahoma at number 19. K-State, who had a big win over OK State over the weekend, moves up 3 spots at 20. Boise State, welcome to the top 25. They're at number 21. Louisville at 22. Indiana, Illinois, and Texas A&M dropped 1 spot, but still hold on to the top 25 spot. They beat Arkansas. Again, a win is a win in the SEC. You know, you take a look at A&M. A&M's the only 2-0 team in the SEC right now.
Yeah.
Meantime, the UTSA Roadrunners lose their first game of the season. The first game of the conference, rather.
Conference, yeah. But the Roadrunners, man, I'm going to be honest with you. My money goes to UTSA because my daughter goes to UTSA.
Yeah.
I was watching this game,
30-20 loss to East Carolina, by the way.
And I'm watching this game, and I'm just looking at this team, and I'm just like, they just didn't seem to have it, man. I was like, East Carolina, they were playing UTSA tough, even though UTSA had the lead early on. And it was just that East Carolina defense, man. They just got UTSA. UTSA really couldn't get things going after East Carolina really upped their defensive presence out there on the field.
Yeah.
UTSA just didn't have the magic, man.
They didn't. And there's just something about this team. Jeff Traylor, let's talk about Don Harris from WOAI. He mentioned something about Coach Traylor, saying that he's telegraphing the fact that this team's not that good. And he did that before the Texas State game when they got their asses handed to them in San Marcos. See how I pronounce that there? He basically has indicated that this team is in a transition. No more Frank Harris. And I know that Frank Harris wasn't there the entire season last year. But no more Frank Harris. This team is in a transition and doesn't have the veteran leadership on this team that's needed to win. And I know there was big expectations, and those expectations are built on the fact that Coach Traylor's a success at wherever he goes. And it's built on the fact that this team is just going to reload, not rebuild. But it looks more and more like a rebuild. They've got Rice next. And historically, they don't do well against Rice. But Rice right now is 1-4 on the season and has lost both games in conference. Right now, ESPN Analytics say that the Roadrunners have a 53% chance of going in there and beating Rice.
Yeah,
this upcoming week.
There's some stats here that are kind of jarring to tell you like what's happening with UTSA.
Yeah,
overall total team yardage, 456 is what UTSA had, and you look at East Carolina, and they had 341 passing yards. UTSA 286, East Carolina 294. Rushing yards, UTSA had 170 rushing yards for this game. East Carolina only had 47. But where it really got interesting for me is you're looking at the penalties, man. UTSA, they were called for 12 penalties.
12 penalties is a lot.
That's 79 yards, man. And the thing is, too, you look at the interceptions thrown, both teams threw 2 interceptions. Fumbles, UTSA had a fumble. I mean, at the end of the day, they just played a sloppy game.
They did. It's an immature team right now. Let's give some love to Tim Gonzalez, man, with his comment there, talking about, says, I was listening to the SMU Florida State game on Saturday night, and SMU fans were throwing beer bottles at FSU sideline in the second quarter. We got to talk about that a little bit.
Come on, man.
We got to talk about that a little bit because Florida State, when you think of ACC football, who do you think of? I think of Florida State first and foremost. It's because of where I grew up.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think of Clemson, even though Clemson's won national titles and all that. When I think of ACC, I think of Florida State. Florida State should have hired Deion Sanders as their head coach when they didn't. They passed up on him. Florida State lost to SMU 42-16 in Dallas. Think about that. The great Florida State football program goes into tiny SMU and gets beaten up 42-16. They didn't want SMU in their conference. SMU is now 4-1 in the ACC. Clemson right now 2-0, the only 2-0 team. But you have right there, you have Florida State 1-3 already in conference, 1-4 overall. They did not want SMU because when they did the realignment and it brought over teams like Stanford and it brought over teams like Cal and SMU, they were like, why is SMU coming over here? We don't want them here. It's just tiny little private school in Dallas.
Yeah, Southern Methodist University.
Why wouldn't you want the Dallas market?
Yeah.
But SMU's been playing some good football the last few years. And for them to go out there and just wallop them, beat them up not only on the field, but also in the stands. Which, by the way, there were some scary moments last night at the game between the Falcons and the Saints in the stands. Crap went on in the stands these days, man.
Dude. It's these fans, man. And you know what? It's just the fans being obnoxious and being dumb.
It's being drunk is what it is.
Exactly. I mean, and the thing is, at some point, I think they're going to have to address that in stadiums all over the nation. At what point do you tell somebody you're cut off? Man?
You know what? You know how they say that it's a felony if you attack an official?
Yeah.
it should be a felony if you do it at a sporting event.
Yeah, but too, like I was saying, do you think they should impose that if you can already tell you're drunk and you're trying to still buy beer? Shouldn't they just say, you know what, man, you're cut off, bro?
Yeah, but you can always get your friend to go buy it.
I know
whatever.
that, but I'm just saying, like, even if the friend is drunk, at some point, I think they need to call it and say, like, dude, you've all had way too much to drink. Man.
Right.
Y'all are cut off.
Kevin Jennings for SMU threw for 3 touchdowns and 254 yards. Brashard Smith, Roderick Daniels, each with a touchdown rushing. Combined, man, they rushed for 204 yards as a team. Not bad, man. Not bad. They go on. SMU. Is SMU going to be that one team that kind of hangs around and might make the playoff?
They might F around and find out.
I know who they got next. Number 2, Louisiana, rather. Louisville coming up next.
Yeah, look at what Sith was saying. He goes, that head stomp was attempted murder, man, at that game, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the video?
No.
That man, it was bad. One fan was head stomping the other guy.
Where was that at?
That fight that we're just talking about.
At the Saints game?
The Saints game.
Yeah.
And it was pretty bad, dude. It got bad.
I'm going to look for that real fast.
I think Jeff Garcia had shared some video of that. I mean, it was pretty bad. It was brutal, man.
Oh, yeah, this is it right here.
Yeah. And the one of the guys is just head stomping the other one, as you can see there. I mean, it was pretty bad, dude. Pretty gruesome. And the thing is, too, they were saying that some of the women that got in
were seriously injured.
They were seriously injured, and it wasn't because they were getting into the fight. They were just innocent bystanders of the nonsense that was going on. Because there's bodies being thrown all over the place. Dude, guys are just throwing punches.
This video is so clear. Someone's going to get arrested for this.
Dude.
And you know what the most egregious thing about all this is? Wearing a white and red uniform with green pants. That is a fashion foul right there.
Man.
So sad.
Some people are going to go to jail for a while, man.
Oh, here's another one. Another fight in the stands.
I'm like, this. Why, man?
This is just stupid.
Somebody's going to wind up getting killed, dude. I mean, they got to put an end to this nonsense. Either you're going to wind up killing somebody else right then and there, or you're going to wind up killing somebody that's an innocent bystander because of stupidity like this. They should ban these guys. As soon as you do stuff like that, you're banned for life. You're not allowed to come back anymore. Stay at home.
I don't know, man. There's Edgars everywhere.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're going to engage in stupidity like that, just you're banned from the stadium for life. We don't need the business, man.
Looking for more. Just searching a football fight. Here's another fight at a game. This is at the game involving the Vikings. Just more and more fights in the stands. Look at that. This is why you can't take kids to NFL games.
Yeah, there's no place for them there, man, because there's just a whole bunch of binge drinking going on before the game starts, because a lot of people tailgate. Then as they get into the stadium, they continue. And I mean,
can I tell you something?
Bad.
Tell you something? This never happens in the good seats. It's always happening in the upper level, baby. Upper level. That's right. Hand over fist right there. That's why you don't get seats at the 200 level.
How much of that drinking is mixed with cocaine?
Tony saying aguas frescas and lemonade only at stadiums.
They got to do something to call this nonsense, man. This is ridiculous.
Dikembe Mutombo's dead.
I know.
At the age of 58. 8-time All-Star. He's a Hall of Famer. Dikembe Mutombo here on TMZ Sports talking about the fact that he died at the age of 58 from brain cancer. God, man. Anything worse than that?
My aunt died of brain cancer too. It's
really
horrible, man. Horrible.
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, according to TMZ, released a statement saying, quote, Dikembe Mutombo was simply larger than life. On the court, he was one of the greatest shot blockers and defensive players in the history of the NBA. Again, he played for the Denver Nuggets, played for the Houston Rockets, handful of teams, Sixers, known for that no. Also that voice. He had the voice that everyone knew.
Very distinctive. But he was a humanitarian, man. He did a lot for his community.
Yeah.
You know, overall nice guy. He even spent some time as a Houston Rocket, you know?
Yeah, he was a humanitarian. Good man. Good man. He passed away at the age of 58. Dude, I understand that there's going to be a Diddy documentary coming out.
And of course, it's probably going to be on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Of course, man.
But here's the thing. It's years in the making, and I think it's being done by 50 Cent, if I'm not mistaken. Dude, that Diddy stuff's going to be crazy, man. Ric Flair, his wife left him. Now he's partying with Kid Rock and the Trump family. Interesting. What you got going on this weekend, man? What you do this past weekend?
Just hung out, you know, just get some yard work done here. Started cutting the grass a little bit. And me and the wife went to, the Home Depot, Walmart kind of thing.
Yeah.
I had to go get a fan for the mother-in-law because she was complaining she's hot, in her room. And I was like, let's go get your mom a fan. I went and got her a fan. And while we were there, they have the garden center at Walmart. They have all the Christmas decorations out already.
Yeah.
And the wife's all, look at this, look at that. I'm just like, I can already see the money just flying out, flying out my wallet, dude. I'm like, do you really need a gingerbread blow up, that inflatable that you put in front of the house and all that? I'm like, you don't need none of that stuff, man. I'm like, they do this on purpose because they know that men are going to be taking their wives, their girlfriends, what have you, to the stores, right, on the weekends.
Yeah.
Starting this Christmas thing this early, man, that's crazy, dude. They're pushing Christmas already, dude. They're already done with Halloween. They could care less. It's all about Christmas right now.
I'm getting excited about Halloween, dude. We're 1 month away from Halloween. I think I'll throw a party, dude. And we were talking about the diehards from the Alamo City Sportscast being invited. That would be nice.
Can we make it a double party? We can celebrate the 1,000.
I suppose we could, but it depends on how many people are going to show up, man. I don't got that. I have a big house,
have that much space.
But I don't have enough for 100 people. 40 people, sure. 50 people, fine.
I was already looking at costumes. I'm like, dude, what do I want to go as?
Oh, I know.
I went to the Party City and I was just looking at masks and costumes and like, what can I throw together or whatever?
Right.
I'm just like, I didn't see anything that was appealing to me, and all the good stuff was already gone.
Mm-hmm. I like those couple costumes.
Oh yeah.
Those
are the ones that were sold out.
Yeah. I saw this one guy years ago dressed as Winnie the Pooh, and his girlfriend, who was smoking hot, had a sign on her that said "Pooh's Honey."
Oh man,
that was pretty funny. Now, this past weekend, I was over in Baton Rouge visiting my daughter Gabby. We just ate, man. We just ate. I asked her if she wanted to go to the football game. She didn't want to go. We went to La Berge, the casino there. There's one in Baton Rouge. There's also one in Lake Charles. We went to the one in Baton Rouge. Played Pai Gow. I hit a royal flush. Joe.
Yeah.
Got me $300. Had I bet $5 on it, I would have gotten $2,500. It was brutal. Took the winnings that I had for the night, put it on the Texans. Lost, so I broke even at the casino. That is a victory right there, Joe. That is a victory.
Look at Tornado Analysis saying, Joe, what kind of lawnmower do you have? A Honda? No, man, I got an electric lawnmower. I got me a Makita. It's all metal, dude. It's how usually you get an electric lawnmower and it's all 100% plastic. No, man, this one, you can see it. It's here in the studio.
Yeah. It's
all metal, baby. This is built to last. It's not that junk that everybody else gets. It's like maybe under $200. This one didn't cost no $200. It costs well above that for a reason. Because when I buy something, I want to buy it once, use it for a long time. I want quality, So now what I'm looking at a Makita Edger.
Yeah.
Because I told the wife, man, that little Edger we have here ain't cutting it no more.
Dude, you ever see those guys that like, whenever you go like business parks and they're doing the yards there and they come with that hardcore Edger? I want one of those bad boys. I don't know what that is. That's not a Ryobi. That is something special. This upcoming weekend, I'll be spending in Conroe and in the Woodlands, Joe. So I'm heading on back. You know what that means, Joe?
Oh,
you know what that means?
You can do karaoke.
That means I'm trying to work things out.
Oh my God.
Trying to work things out. No,
Mike's going back. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Coming back with your head down,
tail between legs. So I'm sorry, Mama.
Flowers in one hand. I'm sorry.
I am sorry. I'm trying to be a better
I'm
person.
sorry, baby, but you make me crazy.
That is very funny. Let's talk about Devin Vassell. Foot surgery. Says he's not going to be ready for the start of the season. Again, we find this out 1 month before the season starts, less than 4 weeks before the season starts. Spurs Media Day today, Jeff Garcia. Follow him at Jeff G Spurs Zone on Twitter and Threads. He has all your coverage when it comes to it. Devin Vassell saying he's not going to be reevaluated until November 1. That's the second week of the season. We both feel, Joe, that he's not going to be there till December, January, maybe. I know they're saying he'll be reevaluated on November 1, but that doesn't mean he's back on November 1. They might say he might be cleared for practice, but when is he actually going to come back?
Not till January, bro.
Stephon Castle, baby, number 5. Step on up, baby. This is your time to shine. Make Devin Vassell expendable.
Hey, if Stephon Castle has a heck of a first season, rookie season, maybe he'll be one in the talk for Rookie of the Year nominee.
You know what?
What does that do to Vassell?
Rookie of the Year odds. Let's look them up. Because last time we saw, they were 9 to 10 to 1.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Put some money on
is
it.
Is there any movement on this?
What did the Vegas odds makers say? And you know what? I'm going to share a quick little screen right here of Keldon Johnson looking really slim, man, wearing the number 0 over at Spurs Media Day. Video courtesy of our friend Hector Ledesma. We need to get Hector on, dude.
We do.
We need to get him on.
He'd be willing to come on.
He's a great guy too, man.
According to DraftKings Sportsbook, Zach Edey right now at 5.5 to 1 odds is the favorite to win Rookie of the Year, followed by Reed Shepard at 7 to 1. Zachary Reese-Sarchet, who was the number 1 overall pick, at 8.5 to 1. Stephon Castle has the 4th best odds at 10 to 1, matched by Matas Buzelis and Alexander Sarr. Most improved player odds, Victor Wembanyama. Dude, look at this for MVP. Wait a minute here. Oh no, this is the most improved player award. Wemby at 7.5 to 1 odds. I like that. That's tasty. Coach of the Year. Let me see. Is Greg Popovich on here? Let's see. What is Pop at? Coach Popovich is 18 to 1 odds.
For what?
Coach of the Year.
No, man, that ain't gonna happen.
Ime Udoka is the favorite right now at 8 to 1, followed by Tom Thibodeau and Joe Mazzulla. Look at all these young coaches. Jamal Mosley, Taylor Jenkins, Nick Nurse, Eric Spoelstra, Chris Finch, JJ Redick. Dude, Pop has the same coaching odds right now to win Coach of the Year as JJ Redick, who's never coached a game in his life. 6th Man of the Year, Malik Monk is your favorite to it. Any Spurs listed on here? I don't see any Spurs. Trey Jones, 100 to 1 odds. Interesting. Defensive Player of the Year, Wemby, minus 170.
Where's Sohan? I know you.
Not even listed. Not even listed.
I like saying that just because I know you like picking on him, but I like Sohan as a player, man.
Dude, I think Sohan with a better team is going to be a better player. I think with him having Harrison Barnes there, it's going to make him a better player. I'm hoping that Sohan takes a leap this year. But I want it to be a leap that is going to be structured. I want it to be a leap that is going to be manageable and doable. Don't make him do things he can't do. Don't make him go out there and play point guard. Let him do all the dirty work. He'll have some good games, he'll have some bad games. I think Sohan will be better this year. MVP, Nikola Jokic is the favorite to win it again at 3.5 to 1 odds, followed by Luka Doncic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Joel Embiid. Wemby. Can I introduce you on Wemby at 20 to 1 odds, Joe?
Yeah.
Not bad. But Stephon Castle, your time to shine, baby.
Yeah, and one thing that I want to talk about before we kind of close up the show here is the blockbuster trade that came out of nowhere, man, on Friday. And I was talking with Rick, kind of like me and him were texting back and forth. And I called him after I got out of work, and I'm like, bro, you believe this? And he's like, no, man. He goes, I had to make sure that this was legit, because he has notifications turned on in his phone, right? One of those is going to be Shams. So Shams was reporting it, and I had to kind of fact check as well, make sure that this is legit because this came out of nowhere. So the Minnesota Timberwolves, they traded Karl Anthony Towns, the cat, to the New York Knicks for was it
Julius Randle,
and
DiVincenzo,
and a first-round pick.
I think that this is one of the few trades that might actually help both teams.
It will help, but I mean, I know Minnesota wanted to kind of get rid of the cap space, but I'm like, if that was the asking price for Cat, why didn't the Spurs enter the conversation? They got picks galore.
Yeah, but Julius Randle's a good player, dude.
I know, but I'm just saying, if that was the asking price.
Now, Julius Randle is a talented player, man. I mean, he's not a big name, but he's a guy that can get you 18 points per game.
DiVincenzo's already mad, dude. He doesn't want to come off the bench, and he knows his minutes are going to be limited.
And the reports are that Karl Anthony Towns, who spent 9 seasons at Minnesota, didn't want to be traded from there. But look at the Knicks. The Knicks have a very, very, very solid team, and they added Karl Anthony Towns to it. Julius Randle was not getting that much run with the Knicks last year.
He was injured, dude. Last year, he was injured.
Yeah, I mean, he averaged 24 points per game last year, but he missed half the season with an injury. Career average 19 points per game for Julius Randle. He played for the Lakers. He played for the Pelicans. And he played for the Knicks. He's a good player, but Minnesota had too much height over there.
Gobert, Cat.
Too many people playing the same position over there with the same skill sets. So putting Julius Randle over there might not be a bad deal. You get rid of the contract of Cat. You get the first round draft pick. And then you look at the Knicks roster right now. I'm looking at their depth chart right now. The Knicks depth chart. Look at this team right here. Tell me this team can't make a run. Jalen Brunson, Michael Bridges, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, and Karl Anthony Towns. Wow. Joe.
Team might be all right.
Josh Hart, OG, Bridges, Brunson, and Cat.
Might be a good team, man.
You got Josh Hart and an emerging Precious Anchua back there. Campaign, Miles McBride. They're kind of top heavy, but I like it. I like that lineup, dude. They can stay healthy. That's a team that can make some noise.
See, Christopher Leah saying Spurs like the team they have. They ain't doing nothing. We like the team we have. The thing is with this trade here, it made the Knicks better. But I think in turn, what happened is it made the Minnesota Timberwolves smaller.
Mm-hmm.
That means that they're going to be playing the small ball moving forward because they don't have that length anymore.
Right.
They're losing Cat. So that means that they're putting all their stock in moving forward with who? Ant-Man.
Now, one of the things about trades, you'll notice that a lot of teams trade to each other a lot. And the Spurs might not be good trade partners. It might be that the Spurs don't get a lot of offers. It's possible that teams don't want to work with the Spurs for one reason or another. Spurs do a lot of trades with who? Boston.
Yeah.
They do trades with Indiana. They do trades with Phoenix. Why? Because they know people over there. Toronto, they know people over there. People that were already in the Spurs front office. It's a fraternity that's there. You can tell whenever these trades happen, it's not just out of thin air. Half the time it's because they know somebody on that staff and they make that introduction there. But Spurs like the fleece. LOL. I like that.
Look at this. It's funny, man.
Fist.
Sith just sent us a video. He wants me to show it here. And look at this. It's right here on the screen. They'll play back again. Patrick Mahomes after throwing an interception.
Oh, I saw that one. That was funny. Yeah, Bobby Boucher. Rashid Rice with a torn ACL, but he's a jackass, so I don't care.
Jeez, man.
Quick.
I'm surprised you didn't say it like Brett Favre. Good. You know who got a kick out of that? Christopher Leha.
He did.
He said, man, Mike said that so fast. He says, you had him laughing at work, dude.
Yeah, I was in mid-sip, too.
Yeah, Brett Favre diagnosed with Parkinson's. Good. I was like, damn, Mike.
Late stories coming in from ESPN. Big Ten and SEC are talking about a scheduling partnership to help enhance their chances of making the playoffs. I'm excited about a 12-team playoff, man.
I know.
I'm excited because my LSU Tigers are number 13 right now. They can get into the top 8 or 9, get an at-large bid. You never know what's going to happen, baby. Just make it happen on the field. Texas is going to make it. Can A&M make it? Longhorns, Aggies play at the end of the season. Be fun to watch.
So look at this here. So as we bring the show, we're bringing it to an end here. The poll, right? Will the Spurs make the playoffs this upcoming season? 57% of you say yes. 43% of you say no.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of close, man.
It is close. It's the optimism of the season starting and whatnot, but no Devin Vassell there unless Stephon Castle balls out early, and we're going to find out early. It's going to be difficult for the Spurs to go out and get some wins to start off.
It is, man. You know what we got looming here on the horizon too?
What do we got?
Can't forget, man. We're going to have to start talking about the MLB playoffs. They're around the corner, man.
They are. Got the Astros in it. So we'll be excited about that. We'll be watching all those games. You know, this is when you watch baseball. Regular season doesn't matter at all. Just
what do you say, Mike? It's boring.
It's better now that there's a pitch clock. I got things to do, man. I don't want to sit there watching you grab your balls and adjust your cup and scratch your balls and scratch your chest and readjust your gloves. Like, what happened to your gloves? Why do you have to take them off and on? Why do you got to retie them? What the hell? Fucking around with your belt. Hate that.
You know what's going to happen beginning of October here. October 1, wild card, man. You got Tigers and Astros. That game's going to be tipping off early, 1:32. Then you got the other wild card, which is going to be the Royals and the Orioles. That one's tipping off at 3:08 after Tigers and Astros game.
Nice.
So it's got a lot of stuff happening, man. You even have a game that's going to be announced. It says wild card happening again tomorrow at 4:32. You have the Brewers and the Padres, and it says that their opponents there, it says to be determined. But the Brewers game is going to start at 4:32, and the Padres wild card game is going to start at 7:38.
Yep.
Yeah.
Excited about it. Let's show me some love. Did you change my photo? Because I sent you a new
No,
one.
I haven't changed the photo yet.
I sent you a new one.
I know I haven't had time.
What did you think of it?
It looked all right, but like I said, we got to get rid of the background, man. But you know what? Since we won't embarrass you with the photo, we'll put the number up.
210-508-0369. Again, I do financial services, everything from retirement accounts to life insurance, disability, long-term care. That's what I'm going to go do right now. Even though I wear a Spurs t-shirt, I dress up for the part, man. I might have to go to Houston this week to get some more business. Tell you what. But again, people have old 401ks, old IRAs, old pension accounts, want to know what to do with it, don't know the math behind it, just give me a call, 210-508-0369. I've been licensed since 2005. I've been in business again since 2021. Give me a call. We'll make it happen.
Yeah, we'll make it happen, man.
Everyone have a good day today. We did the full hour and a half. No problem. It was a good show, Joe. Good way to start the week, man. Glad to be back in the studio.
Look at Sam Salinas. Joe has to edit the cochino pic Mike sent.
Oh, I know. Mike, no one is calling me from San Antonio. It's a poor city, remember? Which is why I'm going to Houston for business. And I got a phone call right now from Florida for business. Why? Because they got some money.
No.
And Tony, you're from Austin, dude. So you're the Austin area, if I'm not mistaken. So there's money up there. Introduce me to your friends, baby. Let's make this happen. We'll be back tomorrow. This is the Alamo City Sportscast. I'm Mike. That's Joe. Thank you again to MCS General Contracting, Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs. And give me a call if you need me, 210-508-0369.
We'll see you boys tomorrow. We're out. Peace.